Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to the Clara CFO Group channel. Today we're going to talk about how to review your financial statements and to review your financial information as a small business owner. So I want all small business owners to be taking time to look at their financial information, what's happened in the past. We're going to do a full year review since we have a full year of data and this video is coming out towards the beginning of the year. Your financial information is not just about doing your taxes. It's necessary to do your taxes, but we also want your financial information to give you business insights so that you can make better decisions going forward in your business. So that is what this video is all about. If that sounds good, please make sure to stay tuned. And then also, if you aren't already subscribed to the channel, I would love to have you here as a subscriber. If you don't want to be a subscriber, my feelings won't be hurt too bad, but I would love to have you here. I'd love to help you in your small business. And when you're subscribed and you have the little notification bell on, you will know when we have new videos coming out that are made to help you. So please go ahead and subscribe if you aren't already. So when we think about starting with these financial reviews, what I want you guys to be thinking about is not doing math. We're gonna look at financials, but start to think of them more as like words on a page. Don't think about them as numbers necessarily, because these things, as we're looking at them, what you want to be asking yourself is what is this and why did it happen? Okay. If you let what and why guide your thought process as you're looking through this, you're not going to get overwhelmed by the fact that it's numbers everywhere. Okay. I know some people just don't want to deal with numbers. They don't want to dive into them, but try to not think about them as numbers. Try to think that they are words that we're going to unpack. Okay. If that is intimidating to you at all, but if you love numbers, hey, you're among good company here. I love numbers. I feel like they can tell us a lot. And that's what we're going to do when we dive into these financials. So what I've done here is I've grabbed a set of financials from a real company. I've scrubbed it of all identifying information, kind of like I do with our financial reviews. And we're going to look at a full set of a couple different reports here. I've already pulled them from QuickBooks, so I'm not going to show you that in this video. I do have a whole separate video on how to pull different reports from QuickBooks. So I'll make sure to make that available up here somewhere. Let's go ahead and dive into the screen share and I will show you guys the example company that we're going to go through today. So here we are in the workbook that I've put together, and it has different tabs, and we're not necessarily going to go through this in order, but I have a balance sheet, a profit and loss by month, a budget versus actual, a profit and loss year over year, and then a profit and loss as a percentage of total income. We're going to start our review in the profit and loss by month. This gives us the most detail, and I think this is the best place to start. So what I like about this is that it shows us every single month during the year, and this is a great place where we can see where spending was high, where spending was low, where revenue was high, where revenue was low. This is where we can see what was our best month, what was our worst month, and we can start to ask those questions again, why? And then we can also ask what. If we don't understand something, we can say, what is this? I have no idea. Or what happened here to cause that? So for example, if you have a really high month, like in this situation, April is quite a good month for this business. What happened to make it a good month? Was it just cash receipts were all kind of delayed and people paid in April? Or was it some kind of initiative that we actually did to make that a good revenue month? And then, why? Why are we having some of these low months? Why was January only at 14,000 when we really need to be at a burn income rate of about 30,000 per month? These are the types of things that we can ask ourselves and get those insights that are going to be really helpful. When you look at this year over year, look for what's missing. Here's travel for contracts. Yeah, we didn't really travel that much last year. It actually makes a lot of sense. Merchant service fees, for example, this should be caught in a bookkeeper's review, but my assumption is that there probably should have been some merchant service fees, but maybe nobody paid with a credit card that month, for example. You can do little calculations if you have this in Excel. I like to pull these things in Excel so I can make notes and calculations over on the side. I did a quick calculation here to just see what was our merchant service fees as a percentage of total income, less than 1%. That's what I like to see. But, just go through and look at these things line by line. I like to see the trends. So I know, okay, for example, payroll was much lower in January, and then it dipped a lot in March, but then it went back up into April, and I can think as the business owner, oh yeah, that's when we hired so-and-so and so-and-so. So you can start to look at these numbers and think to yourself, what was really happening during that time of the year? Does that make sense? What this can also help you do is think about investments maybe you made in the past that you're not going to make in the future, which would help you if you're looking to develop a budget. And then it can also help you think about, wow, I didn't realize I spent $6,000 on professional development. Maybe that seems a little expensive and I don't feel like I got the right value out of that. So you can readjust for the next year, okay? And looking at these numbers, both monthly and accumulated, can help you think, okay, is that really valuable? Is that really worth it to me? Line by line, go through, make your notes. If you need any help digging in and finding what happened, maybe talk to your bookkeeper or somebody else who's maybe a little bit more familiar with your accounting system, and they can help you find the answers that you're looking for. But this is just a really good way to kind of do this overall review that we're talking about. And remember, we have to understand historicals before we can go and do any kind of projections and planning for the next year. This is a really critical part when we're working with clients, because we provide CFO services for small businesses. If anybody is looking for CFO services, definitely check out our website to learn more about those. But this process of going through this month by month, line by line, this is one of the first things we do with all clients. And it's amazing how insightful this can be. And we've had so many clients just say, wow, like we had no idea all of this information was just sitting here, and like they learned new things about their business, even though like we're brand new to the business. But going through this process, it's a lot can be found out. And you can dig into the detail here too, which I highly recommend. Okay, so just make notes as you go along. The next place I want to send you over to is the profit and loss year over year. And this one I think is really helpful because we looked at the detail already of the year, and now we can see the totals, and now we can see trends. So what happened last year, what happened this year? You can pull this report even to have multiple years, but I'd like you to just first look at just what happened the last year to this year first. You can see like, did revenue go up? In this case, revenue went up 42.5%. That's pretty amazing. How did it go up? Probably because payroll went up, because this is a service-based company. Sure enough, payroll actually went up 66%. So this is actually a negative trend to see payroll outpacing revenue growth. We don't love seeing that. So this is the kind of thing that you can see when you compare year over year. Maybe you contributed more to retirement last year versus this year. Maybe you spent more on professional development this year versus last year. All these things are really great to know and will help you as you're making decisions going forward. And also like what you want to plan for the next year and where you want to invest. So I love this report. Pull it straight out of QuickBooks. The next one we're going to go to is profit and loss as a percentage of income. I mentioned this report in the expense review video, so if you haven't watched that, definitely check it out. But this is a way for us to see revenue, if different service lines as a percentage of income, which is helpful to see. And then you can also do all of your expenses as a percentage of income. So this helps you identify like the biggest accounts and the biggest places that you're spending money versus, or you're making money. And then it can help direct like where do you need to spend more time potentially looking for some savings or streamlining here or there. This is just a nice report. Now, the one I'm showing you is just for 1 month. You might notice that the numbers are a little bit different. This is just for 1 month, but don't worry about that. I think actually this is also pulled on an accrual basis. So really, I just pulled this report all incorrectly because I should have pulled it on a cash basis for the entire year. But what I want to show you is that this report is canned and available from QuickBooks, and it is helpful. You can run this calculation really easily. If you don't have QuickBooks, you can just do it as a percentage. So you can take like the expense divided by the total income, and you can run that percentage all the way down. The last kind of P&L focused number, and you'll see that 4 out of 5 of my reports here are P&L focused, profit and loss focused, mostly because the profit and loss is the activity that's affecting the balance sheet. So we need to dig into the activity, and that's why we really spend a lot of time on the profit and loss, okay? Budget versus actual is our next one. So budget versus actual, this is where we take everything that happened during the year compared to the budget, and then we see what was different. So in this situation, we're actually 9% over what we had planned from a revenue perspective. I really like seeing that. And you can just go line by line through it. Now, if you don't have a budget, I'd highly recommend you try to get a budget for this coming year. This process is going to help you get set up so that you can do a budget for yourself. But if you don't already have a budget in place, or you don't have it in QuickBooks or some other way to run a budget versus actual, we use Giraffe with our clients, which is a financial planning and analysis tool. So we run our budget, our budget is kept in that system, and then we run our budget versus actual in that system. But QuickBooks does have the way to upload a budget. I believe that some of the other accounting systems might have that as well. I like to be able to do this. If you're Excel savvy, you can do a quick budget versus actual with, if you have a separate Excel budget, you can do that as well. But this is helpful to see what do we think was going to happen at the beginning of the year and then what actually happened. And this will give you more insights to think like, okay, am I a little bit more impulsive of a business owner than maybe I thought I was? Or maybe I thought I was going to be really disciplined with my spending and I really wasn't. Or maybe I just, said yes to every opportunity and I really need to rein in the spending. This will give you a lot of insights here as well. Go line by line and just do exactly what we were doing on some of the other reports. And then again, make notes and investigate and make notes for next year as you're planning your budget for this next year. And then the last thing we're going to look at is the balance sheet. I typically save the balance sheet for last, even when we're doing monthly financial reviews with clients. The balance sheet is telling us everything, like where did all the cash land at the end of the day? What is our financial position? What is our total cash? What is our total accounts receivable if you're on an accrual basis? And then, what do our liabilities look like, long-term, short-term? And I like to be able to look at this because, and when we run this, we usually run it at the end of the year to the previous year when we're looking at a full year financial review that we're doing. So you can see, like in this situation, you might be like, wow, $92,000 less cash this year versus last year. That's really extreme. But when we go down and we look here, we also see, oh, they had an EIDL loan that they got last year, or they had it, at the end of last year, and they actually paid off $75,000 of that EIDL loan. So that's going to make up part of the reason there's not that much cash, or their cash changed so much, was because $75,000 of that went out the window when they paid off the EIDL loan. You can also see what the owner was paid during the year. This is a LLC taxed as a sole proprietor. So all of the owner's draws that the business owner is taking get reported on the balance sheet. And then you can see like what the net income was last year versus this year. And it's a really helpful overall tool to be able to see like what moved during the year. Okay, that is about it when we look at, this is the first time you've ever done a financial review, or even if you've done it a couple times but you wanted more structure and you weren't really sure what to look at, this is a really great place to start. Now, can you add other reports to this? Like, do I highly recommend digging into more detail here and there? Absolutely. Check out the revenue video, check out the expense video that I will link over here. Check out all of that stuff. And then this is a good place to start, but you can keep going as you get better at this, as you practice. You can keep learning more about how to dig into your numbers and how to understand them and tie them back to what's actually happening in your business. Okay, so I hope that was helpful, you guys, and I will see you later. Again, check out these videos.